class, I wanted to present my project. I'm doing Brazilian cuisine. I chose this topic because my favorite restaurant happens to be a Brazilian restaurant, which is located in Mount Vernon, New York. And I want to research a little bit more about the food of Brazil because from what I've eaten, it's very heavily meat-based. But I do have some Brazilian friends who are vegetarian, so I was kind of interested to know how food affects Brazil and where the food of Brazil really comes from, the other places. So, anyways, as you know, Brazil is a very mixed country. It has people of origins from Europe, the Middle East, the Far East, obviously Portuguese, Africans, Spaniards, Germans, Poles, Syrians, Lebanese, and Japanese, just to mention a few. But basically, I'll break down kind of state by state or like region by region and talk about the different foods that come out of there. So, listing a lot of the foods and which ingredients are used. In the north, the food is derived from the indigenous peoples. In the state of Pará, there's a dish called pato no tucupi, which is duck in tucupi sauce. It's very big and it's associated with a holiday that's somewhat like Christmas in Brazil or in Pará. It's called Cirio de Nazaré. This dish is very popular, eaten by a lot of people, and it takes almost a week to cook the sauce, and then you cook the tucupi sauce, and then you cook the duck. To mention a few other dishes from Pará or from the north, there's tacacá, which is similar, but it's more of a shrimp and tucupi jambu, and it's sold by a lot of street vendors, so it's a common street food. Caruru, which is okra and dried shrimp, then batapa, and this dish is also made in Bahia, but it's similar in the state of Pará, but they just don't have it with fish or peanuts. Then there's something called manisopa, which also takes about a week to be made, and it contains salted pork ribs, sausages, and is heavily meat-based food. Um, then we move over to the northeast. As you know, the northeast geographically has a lot of rain, so the food and produce that's like grown there is based around the rain. Within the state of Bahia, the predominant cuisine is Afro-Bahian or Bahian, which evolved from plantation cooks improvising African, Indian, traditional Portuguese dishes using local ingredients. So, like I was saying, what it basically is the people come over from their original countries, bring similar foods, but because not every country grows the same produce, you get little mixed variations, and over years and centuries, this is how they get their national dishes. Oh, just to mention, the national dish of Brazil is called feijoada, which is a meat and bean stew, but I'll get more into that in a little bit. In the southeast, the regional dishes include maize, pork, beans, chicken, including a typical dish called frango com quiabo, which it translates roughly to chicken with okra. And it also uses a lot of traditional cheeses. And in Rio, actually, feijoada is a staple, obviously of the whole country, but especially there, and is popular on Wednesday and Saturday lunches. I'm not really sure why, but that's just what I read. Also consumed is feijoa con arroz, which is more with rice. Rice is obviously a big food over there. And then they have black beans, which are native to Rio, called feijão de arroz or caruquija, which can be found in Sao Paulo. Another typical food in Sao Paulo is virada a paulista that consists of rice, tutu, de feijoa. It's sort of like a paste of beans and flour. And they have sautéed collard greens, pork chops, bisteca, and like T-bone steaks, a lot of sausage, fried eggs. But basically in South, especially in Sao Paulo, it's more of an influence of European and Middle Eastern immigrants. A lot of the immigrants or migrants to Sao Paulo are from Italy. So you have, and a lot come from Portugal, Japan, Lebanon, Spain, And in the city of Sao Paulo, pizza is very popular, and sushi can also be found in modern times, obviously because of Japan. Um, and Espirito Santo, there is a significant Italian-German influence in the foods, and the state dish is Amerindian. It's called mokia capizaba. It's tomato and fish stew prepared in a clay pot. So that's when the indigenous comes in, but it's been mixed in with a lot of the Italians and Germans that migrated over. Another food is farofa, which is a dish of toasted manioc flour and small amounts of flavor ingredients such as pork, onions, and hard-boiled eggs. Polenta, which is collard greens, and chorusa, which is sort of like a sausage, but it's a lot less spicy than can be found in chorizo. And in the deep south, you have the gaucho, or cowboy, a lot of national dishes called churrasco, which is sort of barbecue. That's the kind of food I eat when I go to this Brazilian restaurant in New York, in Mount Vernon. It's sort of like your barbecue meats rotisserie, and they kind of just cut it off and whatever meat you want, chicken. You could have steak, like skirt steak. It's over skewers, that's what I meant to say. The traditional food from the state of Paraná is barreado, which is boiled meat made in ceramic pans and cooked in the sun's heat. The European immigrants that came over to Brazil were basically used to more wheat-based diet and introduced wine, leaf vegetables, and dairy products into Brazilian cuisine. The other famous dishes, pão de queijo, which is a Brazilian snack made of flour and cheese, or quibe, which is popular. It's actually a Lebanese dish and was brought into Brazil from Syrian and Lebanese migrants. Then this is an Arabic dish also, which I've eaten, not in Brazil, or not a Brazilian restaurant, but a Middle Eastern restaurant. Esfihah, which is, what exactly is it? It's sort of like a pie cake, which comes with filling like beef and seasoned vegetables, and it's sort of like a shepherd's pie. And empada, which are small pies mixed with flour, chicken, or shrimp. Another thing to know, sort of native liquors that come out that people drink, is called a capicrina, or I'm saying that wrong, but I've drank that before. It's a very strong drink. It is the national drink, and it's a native liquor out of Brazil, and it's distilled from sugarcane. So it's very popular. That's drank in Brazil. And some other foods, like I mentioned, sushi is really popular. Pizza is really popular. Different kinds of cheeses, and meat is Brazil's heavily meat based in their food. Anyways, that's pretty much what I wanted to say about Brazilian food. The one other thing I wanted to mention, I had said before that it would be hard to be a vegetarian in Brazil, because even if not all their foods are completely meat based, there's meat in almost every one of the dishes that I've read so far. But they do have a lot of foods that are with cheese and vegetables, so it is possible to do it. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed my presentation on Brazilian cuisine. It's making me very hungry, so I'm going to go finish my Brazilian